Okay, good morning, everyone. It's your Girls from Obscuration, me, Dana. Me, Dana.
And I'm Kay. Happy Sunday. It's been a while, I understand, since we've done this, but I'm Dana and she's Taylor. And while she gathers herself, I'm going to tell you all. So it's been a few weeks since we've been here. I was sick for a couple weeks, no voice, coughing up lungs, the whole 9 yards. And then last week, unfortunately, Taylor had a funeral to attend. So we're back this week and we're going to be ranting and raving. What about, you ask? Everything that has pissed us off in the last 3 weeks.
So really, it's a long list of things, and one of the things I forgot to even bring up to Dana pre-show, because we kind of gather ourselves a little bit before show. Not that helped me today, apparently, as I forgot who I
am. Who am I?
Who am I? Where am I? What am I doing? Is my name Little Timmy? Am I going to get run over and shoved down a well? So I've seen this meme that goes around, and instead of it being called an asshole, it's called an ask hole.
Oh, yes.
And I absolutely love it. And it's one of the things that I think we shall rant and rave about today, along with many other topics. Because I know that in both of our lives, we have either dealt with in the past, present, and future with assholes. Data's already making faces over there, and I know why. But you know what really just drives me up a wall and grinds my gears is when people come and ask you for advice, tell you, oh, what great advice that is, you're right, and just tell you, like, basically just spoon feed you what you want to hear, and then blatantly fucking ignore everything that you said. Like, why don't fucking come and ask me then? Because I am tired of listening to you come over, wee, 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 wee. And then you go and you do the stupid thing anyways. And you don't listen to the advice that was given, the suggestions that were given, the all-out plans. Because I know for a fact that you and I have both done this with previous people, where it's, here, we'll help you make a plan of attack. We'll do it all. We will be there with you every step of the way. That sounds great. And then crickets. And then does the exact opposite of everything we suggested. Where it's like, chirp, 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 chirp.
Yeah, I have dealt with a lot of those. A lot of those. Probably half of them within my job at VP, and half of them within people I know outside of life, like outside of my hovel of a home. It's the, oh God, I don't know how to do this. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Okay, well, here, let me sit down with you. And for instance, my money problems. I don't even know where to start to create a budget. So, okay, so how much money do you bring in monthly? And what are your monthly expenses? Like, what's your car insurance? What's your rent/mortgage? Your cell phone bill? How much do you spend on groceries? How much do you spend on gas weekly? We can figure this out, and hopefully by within 6 months, you're going to be able to have downplayed your bills, and you're going to be putting money away in a savings account. You would have thought I'd bomb China. Because it went totally silent. I never heard from the person ever again. And I'm like, was suggesting a
plan,
a budget, like a really, really bad thing for me to do for somebody that was basically in financial ruin? Okay, whatever.
Yeah. How dare you? How dare you give a reasonably thought out plan that would actually work and take away their ability to complain about everything? How dare you, ma'am?
You know, I am a selfish person.
Yeah, how could you be so selfish trying to help
I,
friends
you
like
know,
that?
I think of others. How fucking rude of me.
Well, I think that's the issue. Like, I can remember a girl that I was friends with back in high school, college timeline, and her big hang up was that she couldn't get or keep a boyfriend. And so many conversations with her while she cried like a little baby because, oh, I went over to his house. I took 52 buses to get there. And then he was like, oh, hey, just blow me. And then she'd do that. And then she'd be like, oh, okay, well, hey, do you want to hang out and like cuddle or anything afterwards? He was like, no, you can
No,
go
go
ahead and
home.
walk home. You know, go ahead, walk home, figure out your way home, and I'll call you when I need you next. And he'd just turn around, like start playing video games or reading a book or something else. Like, but the thing was, that's how she started every relationship.
Well, and that's the thing. Listen, slutty Susan, stop blowing guys.
Slutty Susan, I love that. And that was literally the bare minimum that I would tell her every time. Like, well, don't make like if you go to meet the guy and all you do is something
Leave your clothes
sexual.
on.
And it's like, if all you're going to do is something sexual the very first time that you see him, he's not going to think, oh, relationship material. He's going to say, oh, hey, look, a booty call.
I'm gonna
And that
show my
was,
age. I'm
oh,
gonna
God.
show my age.
Oh,
What's that old saying? They're not gonna buy the
they're not
cow
going to
if they're
buy the
getting the
cow.
milk for free,
Yep.
or
Yep.
if they're getting milked for free.
We are on a roll today. We are hilarious. Whether you guys agree or
Oh,
not,
I
we don't
kill
care.
me.
I slay me.
You know what? Friday night, I the ultimate dad joke on my husband. Like I was laughing so hard I almost peed, and I can't even remember what I said now. That's
Oh,
brain fog. Yeah, he said something to me, and I took his word. I took the word he said, and I used it in a sentence that was just. He looked at me and he's like, "What a dad joke!" And I'm like doubled over crying, right, laughing. It was that fucking good, and I
some
can't
of them
remember.
are so hilarious. Like, I absolutely love dad jokes. Like, a couple of the guys at work tell them, and he says to them, it's like, oh, I didn't do that on, I meant to do that on dolphin. Oh, wait a minute, on porpoise. And I
Ugh.
laugh every freaking time because I think it's hilarious. And I don't care what the rest of the world has to say. I'm like, this shit's funny. Like, I
But
think
yeah,
dad jokes need more light.
but yeah, yeah. If you're gonna meet up with a guy, suck his dick. He's not gonna want you to go out to the movies with him. He's using you for his sexual needs, and he
Mm.
probably has a girlfriend that he takes out for dinner and goes to the movies with. And
Well,
maybe she don't suck nothing. I don't know.
well, I mean, and that's honest to God. That is the most common thing is that if you ask a lot of married fellas or long-term relationship fellas, uh, a lot of the time that's what they go cheating for is because their significant others are like, look, we're already together. I don't have to work that hard anymore. It's
Yeah.
fine. I can just lay there and take it and be like, this was good for me. Was it good for you? Good, good. We're done. I'm going to go put on the TV and we're going to watch Dateline now and be fine. So to me, it's one of those things where it's like, she would ask the question every single time that we got together. And I was like, I can't take this anymore. Or she'd ask, hey, what should my future career be? Hey, where should I apply for jobs at? And would take zero of the advice, would ask it every single time, ignore the information. And sometimes, you think maybe I'm just not being creative enough with it. So you kind of do a little jig and a little jag and jog and all these little things just to try and make it sound different and be different.
Yeah.
Only to have the same outcome, and then you're like, well, that's it. Now I just want to like stick a needle in my eye because that would be more entertaining and different and learning than doing what I've been doing every single time that you come over.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that, or when when people now look, I have said it many times before. I'm a fluffy girl. I'm not thin. I'm not skinny. I'm so many C's. Now, what you will not hear me do is go around to my friends continuously complaining about it or saying, hey, what do you think I should do? How do you think I should lose the weight? Yada, yada, blah, blah. Because, number one, it's just like if you're actually going to ask your friend how to do it, and you want to actually take the information and you want to do change and you want to make the changes, and then you do this funny thing where you follow through with it, cool. And again, fat, I am. I know the struggles of weight loss and trying to stay on the diets and all that, or trying to make the life changes. I get it. Trust me, I do. However, don't go up to your friends and be like, oh my God, this didn't work. I fell off the wagon after one day and then I fucking ate it. Okay. And then I continue to eat it. And then I continue to eat it. But I'm going to text you or message you or talk to you every day about it and say, hey, what am I doing wrong? What do you mean? What are you doing wrong? What do you, what?
I'm with Taylor. I am a fluffy gal. I was fluffier because last year I lost 60 pounds basically.
Mhm.
You want to know what kills me? And I think we had recorded a little video on this, and I never, because then I got sick and I never posted it. So,
Oh, yeah, I meant to ask you if
our
you did.
show is basically on Spotify, YouTube, TikTok. On TikTok, you fucking people are brutal. 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 These are the fucknuts that slide into our DMs. So, like, I do the social medias of the podcast. Taylor does YouTube and whatnot,
Editing.
Instagram. So, these are the kinds of messages that I would get. Love your show, but you got to get rid of the fat one. She's too ugly to be on camera. Taylor said it best when I told her about this. She's like, who are they talking about, me or you? Because we're both fat.
That was my very first instinct. I'm like, okay, which one? Which one's the fat one? Like, and I likened it, and again, this will show both of our ages because I now realize that I've hit the point in my life where I make references that no younger people understand, and my heart just shatters. Side note to that, little tangent to that, is my nephew. Oh, my nephew's son, love him.
Oh,
Is all of 17 and doesn't quite get the references that we all make at the D&D table because it's him at 17, her son at 22,
yeah,
23, 22.
22.
And then we skip to the 30s for me for 32, almost 33. And then we do another skip up to the 50s. We go up to Dana, who, by the way, is celebrating her birthday today. She's the big 54.
54.
54.
Me and my ugly face are 54 today.
So when we make references, it tends to go past the kid's head, where he's like, ha 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 ha. Like, I made a comment or a reference to, I'm coming, Elizabeth. And he just sat there with that blank smile on his face as he went, huh? And we all looked at him and went, oh.
You're so cute.
So when Dana told me about that message, the immediate thing that I thought of for a reference point was, and I can't remember what the exact name for the show was, but the Two Fat Ladies, which I think was the name of the show, Two Fat Ladies or Two Fat Ladies in the Kitchen.
No, it was just the Two Fat Ladies.
Was it just the Two Fat Ladies?
Mm-hmm.
So at some point in time, I think they're both dead now. I'm thinking
yes,
they've got to be at this point. I'm almost 33. They have got to be dead. They were severely overweight, and their cooking consisted constantly of like 52 pounds of butter and salt.
Butter makes it better.
Oh, butter makes it good. So they
were also British, correct?
Yes, yeah, I believe so. And they would always drive around. One would sit in the sidecar, and the other one would drive the motorcycle. And that's how they got around everywhere. And now it was a fantastic show. Like, the food looked delicious. Also looked artery clogging for sure. But
I think my dad had a heart attack watching the one episode.
I wouldn't be surprised. What are you doing? Oh God, I'm coming, Elizabeth. But at one point in time, after the show had stopped stopped recording, I don't remember if it was before it got to stop or it stopped because one of the ladies had died. Now, when I'm saying they were heavy, I think they had to be 350, almost 400 pounds each. Like, they were big, like my Aunt Shirley, and she was about that size. So at that point, when the one passed away, my mom's like, I was like, oh my God, one of them died. Which one? And she was like, I don't know, the fat one. And I looked at her and went, well, which one? They were both called the Fat Ladies. She was like, I don't know, the fat
She was
one.
like fat and fatter.
That was basically it. Like, I still to this day, I will have to Google it at some point in time, but I don't know what the ladies' names were. But I remember loving them and adoring them. But it was that moment of her being like the fat one, which is also now a reference to the Gilmore Girls for anyone who watches that, because the exact same conversation happened between Lorelai and Rory, which made my mom and I laugh because it had been like maybe 2 weeks previously that I had asked who died, and she was like, the fat one, Lorelai, the fat one. And that was what made me think of it the moment that Dana said that she got the message, and I'm like, well, which one's that?
But it wasn't just one message.
No.
So there was like 4 or 5 in the one or 2 days after we posted our last podcast. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? Leave me alone. It honestly, like, I want to flay the skin off my ass and make somebody eat it every time they say to me, you'd be so pretty if you just lost weight. I wasn't pretty when I was thin.
That's the best comeback ever.
Why you think I'm suddenly going to get pretty if I lose weight? I'm a very average looking person. I can admit that. My eyes aren't stunning. I don't have beautiful lips. Well, unless I take Advil. Then I have those beautiful Angelina Jolie lips.
Okay, no Advil for you.
But yeah, it just calm down, people.
Well,
it makes you wonder if those keyboard warriors are so insecure with themselves.
Oh, so, guaranteed.
And I think I said to you the next time I get one of those messages, I was going to go to their profile, screenshot it, take one of their pictures, screenshot it, and then put them on blast and tag them on TikTok and shame them.
Shame,
'Cause
ding, ding.
ding,
Shame,
ding,
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 ding.
ding. You shall wear the scarlet shame letter.
Scarlet A for you.
The
Which again,
scarlet S for shame.
I was going to say, again, we're showing our ages. We're like, oh yeah, the Scarlet Letter. They're sitting there, they're like, what? Scarlett Johansson? What? Oh.
So back to the two fat ladies. And this is kind of a funny story. I have a mandolin, not the musical instrument, the cutting device.
I think that's the cutting device.
I'm a big fan of reruns. Not the guy off Good Times, but shows and rerun.
So many good references today.
So I was watching an episode of the Fat Ladies where they made Bubble and Squeak. So for all you people that have no idea what Bubble and Squeak is leftover mashed potatoes with chopped up cabbage and about a pound of butter in a frying pan. You lay down your butter, melt it, then you put your cabbage in, wilt your cabbage a little bit, put your mashed potatoes on top, and put a lid on it. The butter comes up through the mashed potatoes, hence the bubble and the squeak noise. So I said to my husband, my God, we got a shit ton of mashed potatoes in the house. We'd had roast the previous night. So there's mashed potatoes in the fridge, and I got a cabbage. We should make that. He says, okay, I'll do it. Because Chef Boyardee out there likes to think that him and Gordon Ramsay were separated at birth. So he gets my mandolin down. Now, if anybody doesn't have a conceptual vision of what a mandolin looks like, it's large, long, about that thick, and it has interchangeable blades. But it also has this beautiful little cup-shaped object with spikes on it that you stick your food to, and then mandolin. Remember that. So my husband gets the cabbage, and he cuts it up. And he's standing at the counter, and I'm in the other room. And I have an open concept kitchen, so my living room, you can look right through the front of the house to the back and vice versa. So I'm in the living room watching my Fat Ladies on TV, and my husband's in the kitchen, mandolin that cabbage, and all I hear is fuck and a few other choice curse words. I'm like, what the fuck? Yes, a sizable chunk of his thumb was now in the cabbage. There was blood everywhere. I'm like, after I get them all cleaned up and throw dinner away, we have to order pizza now at this point because there's blood on the kitchen floor, on the counter, in the cabbage, on the mandolin. It's everywhere. Throw everything away. I get them bandaged up, get the bleeding stopped, bandage them up. And I turn to him and say, why weren't you using the guard? What's that? that right there, that's the guard. He's not allowed to touch the mandolin anymore.
Good.
No.
No touchy, no touchy.
No touchy. He'll Jesus. Be like, can I help you? Get the fuck out of the kitchen.
No touchy.
No touchy. So yeah, we don't watch the Fat Ladies anymore, even in reruns, because he gets too many bright ideas.
Suddenly he's like, oh, you know what I can do? No, you can't. No, you can't.
No,
Step away from the idea, Norman. Step away.
I use my mandolin basically for doing my carrots and onion for when I make spring rolls.
Oh yes, yeah.
I should make those one day when we have D&D.
Oh, we can do that for the next one. We can do like an Asian themed one.
Oh.
Yeah, just in case anyone's wondering, we're basically Dana and I are doing now I have a sudden side story to this, but Dana and I are gonna kind of do like food themes every time that we do
D&D.
D&D session. So the first one was just random because we hadn't thought about it. Then I'm like, oh, how about the last time was the pot pie. This time's going to be Mexican themed, so it's going to be tacos and some chorizo dip and stuff like that. And the next time will be Chinese, probably. Excuse me. So yes, that's all exciting. And I saw a video last night that made me think of this, where it was a guy, I think on TikTok. It was either TikTok or the Reels on Facebook. I can never tell anymore because they're everywhere. And the guy was saying, "Okay, come here. I have something to tell you guys. Girls are better at D&D." He's like, "There you go. I said it. I said it. I said what I said. If you're a guy and have a problem with this, why you hate women? Why you hate women?" And
Why you hating on women?
I just burst out laughing hysterically because it was like, that is so random and weird. But his thought for it was that women make better characters. Like, we put more thought into our characters. We have better developed backstories. We're just like everything all encompassing. Like, we put thought into it, kind of thing. Where he's like, guys are just like, yeah, I made this barbarian and he hits stuff. And that's it.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, even with him saying that, I'm like, okay, you know what? But I've played with a lot of guys who put a lot of thought into their characters, because I have a lot of friends who like to role play stuff. So for me, a lot of the guys that I've had around, like, I've definitely had the encounters when they're like, I take a heavy object, I beat someone over the head with it. Like, obviously that's all the thought that I have, where you're like, okay, but do you have a backstory? Are you attached to this character? Anything like that? And they're like, I lift things up, I hurl them to put them down. Like, what more do you want? And you ask a girl, and she's like, okay, so this is, I'm going to use yours, Raywin, as an example. She comes from this particular part of the forest because she hates the others. And then she came out here, and she's talking to this one, she's doing that, she's doing this. And there's 52 different backstory items to go with it. And then my thought afterwards was that, you know what? And when we're in charge of it, we're also like, ooh, you know what we should do? Food themes. Because we're like, yes, let's add to this. It's going to be a dining and entertainment experience.
It is. So first week we ordered pizza.
That's what it was.
From
yes.
Slice of Pie, which in my little corner of Essex County is probably the best fucking pizza on the face of the planet, because they, not only is their crust fluffy and soft, their pizza is good. It's sturdy. It holds up. Their sauce is great, but then they smother that bitch in garlic butter.
I was going to say, that's what really puts the finishing touches on it, where you're like, take a bite of it and you're like, oh.
The garlic butter and Parmesan on the...
Oh, that just...
And then the second week, which was literally the beginning of my 3 weeks of hell, because
yes,
I woke up on Thursday morning with a fucking migraine. I haven't had a migraine in a while. I have that piercing.
Yep, that's right.
That pressure point piercing. So I haven't had a migraine for a while. Woke up with a migraine. I was telling Tay about it. So between Thursday morning and Saturday afternoon, I ate a bowl of soup. But I went grocery shopping. You heard me. I went grocery shopping, and I made 2 ginormous chicken pot pies for our D&D session on Saturday night, which halfway through the D&D session, I coughed. Motherfucker. Didn't I wake up sick Sunday morning, and I was sick for, what, 2.5 weeks?
Yeah, I say you were down for the count, because, I mean, you were hacking up a lung starting Sunday, and you had lost your voice that Sunday, because I messaged you. I'm like, oh, okay, hey, are we doing it? And you're like, could we maybe try tomorrow? It's like, oh, what's up? And she's like, I have no voice. I was like, oh, you know what? That's fine. Why don't we just skip it this week? We'll pick up next week. She's like, cool. then talking to her throughout the week, checking in, and then by the next Sunday, she's like, I think I could keep it together so that I don't cough for at least a few minutes. And like, it's okay. We can skip this week too.
The worst part was I would cough so hard, and any woman out there that has children, had children, or any woman out there that has a weak bladder understands this. I would cough and piss myself. It was not fun. And I didn't want to have to get up halfway through the podcast and explain to you fine people I had just peed a little because I coughed.
And for anyone watching this who does not think that this happens, let me tell you a little secret, because I learned this when I was 16. Because my mom got so sick at one point in time when I was 16, it was just like she got hit hard by this flu that was going around. I ended up getting it after her, pretty well just as bad, but I never peed myself, thankfully. However, she was constantly, like, she had to literally wear a pad because she was coughing so much and harfing up a lung because she can't cough up her phlegm. She vomits it up to the point that she was peeing herself. Now, at the time, I thought she was the freak because I was like, what is wrong with you? At the time, I worked at Curves Gym for Women. And obviously it was for women, so there were women all around. And I told some of the ladies on the circuit, and they gave me the looks of, yeah, of course. And I'm like, what do you mean, of course? My mom's like, see, I told you. And they're like, yeah, once you have a kid or you hit a certain age or you can have just a weak bladder, you have to cross your legs. They're like, have you never noticed? And they all showed me, like, in unison, like it was some sort of planned out synchronized leg crossing I didn't know about, where all of them went and did the cross just like that, sneeze, laugh, cough, anything.
Powerful fart. I'm telling you, it'll all bring out the urine.
Yep. And that was exactly it. And they were all different age ranges. Some had one kid, some had three, some of them had none. And they were all like, yeah. And once I knew that, and once I knew about the leg cross, let me tell you, you look for it. I am now 32, going to be 33. I've known for half of my life about this. And I have watched this past half of my life. I now watch, and you can watch the women as they're like, oh my God, cross their legs.
You see them in the grocery store. Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Because they do that. They cross the legs, achoo, and they have to hold for a minute while they control it. It's like in Big Bang Theory. I am the master of my own bladder. I am the master of my own bladder. I am the master of my own bladder. And then they're like, okay, I am the master of my own bladder. So I get it. I've now witnessed it, and she's not weird. It happens to everyone. Now everyone's going to be, anyone who watches this or listens to it, they're going to know to watch when they're out in the store and out in public.
Ooh, she sneezed.
She sneezed, and if she doesn't cross her legs in time, you can see that sheer panic that crosses their faces. It's like, I tempted fate. I peed before we left the house, but there's always more.
It's true. And you don't go to the doctor and say, hey, you don't use the word incontinent, because you're not. You just say, I have a very, very, very hard time holding my urine when I cough, sneeze, laugh, fart. And it doesn't matter what doctor you go to, their answer is always, oh, you need a bladder suspension.
Yes.
No,
which isn't true. A lot of the time,
Kegels.
I was just going to say, do your Kegels, do the different ones. You can even go for pelvic floor
yoga and that.
I would say, yeah, the yoga. There's actually people who specialize in it, who literally will go in and they will help. They will stretch out the things that need to be stretched out and teach you, okay, are you doing the Kegels right? Are you doing the right ones? Are you
what
holding
do you mean
them
they go in?
There's some of them where they can go in and they...
Yeah, fuck that noise. No, ain't nobody going in there anymore other than my husband.
I was just going to say, poor Norm.
No strangers is what I meant. Oh.
It'd be kind of
Okay, so
weird.
let's go on with our rants.
Well, to be fair, it's rants and raves. So every once in a while, ooh, I just thought of a rave.
Okay.
So this week, along with so it's been a topsy turvy, even for me, it's been a topsy turvy thing. Um, it's I can hear the squeaking out in the living room of my new puppy. And when I say new puppy, she's 3.5 years old, and I got her through unfortunate circumstances. A very dear friend of mine, um, her mother ended up passing away this past week, and it was her mom's dog. So she had asked me prior to her mom passing away, she had asked me if I was serious about taking the dog. And I was like, yeah, sure. Like, I wasn't going to take it too soon. There was going to be like anywhere between 3 and 6 months kind of thing for what the life expectancy was for her mother. And I was like, okay, so that gives plenty of time. Like, guys will have the dogs. We can kind of clean up the house, get everything prepared. If anything changes, the prognosis changes, or if she wants to keep the dog, anything like that comes up, cool. Then her mom took a turn for the worst. And then it became more of a rush of, hey, how soon can you take the dog? Which changed my like 3 to 6 month plan where I'm like, oh, okay, we're just going to move that up a couple weeks. And then obviously got even worse, thus the funeral stuff that I was away for. Um, so ended up taking this dog just this past Tuesday. So much sooner than the 3 to 6 months originally thought. Love her to pieces already. She's a super good girl. Loves to give kisses, all of the kisses. Now beats the living crap out of. I have two stuffed mousses. One's a little tiny one that I grabbed from the dollar store. I just thought it was cute, so I grabbed it, brought it home, and just kind of had it sitting there. She got kind of interested with it, went and like bopped it with her face because she thought maybe it squeaked. Didn't stop her from taking it and starting to gnaw on its little antler. And then, as Dana saw, she now her sister had said, her former sister had said that, oh no, she can jump up on couches but not up on beds. She is wrong. In fact, she has no problem jumping up on beds whatsoever, and did so to jump up onto my day bed that had three stuffed animals up there that I had collected. One was from my ex, and it's Grogu from Build-A-Bear. So he's the high end and he's the legitimate Build-A-Bear one. I'm never going to get rid of him, so I tossed out the adoption paper crap. Um, then the other one is I believe it's called Cable Knit stuffed turtle that Dana gave me. And then the third one was again a stuffed moose that I had seen and thought, oh my God, it's so cute. And she went up, she started sniffing the other two. I'm like, no, 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 no. And then she sniffed the moose, bopped him in the face, then violently grabbed him, and then just started shaking the living hell out of him. So that has now also become her stuffy. So she is the goodest of girls. I absolutely love and adore her. I'm glad
She's
that we
cute.
have
I've
her.
seen photos and videos.
So it's lovely having her back. Sad circumstances. So it's kind of like not a rant, not like a rant, but just sadness, but happiness because of having a fur baby again. It's nice coming home, and she's so excited to see me every time that I come home from work. She's like, oh my God, you're back. I'm like, I'm back. I forgot how much I love that. Now, the rant that's going to spin off of that is the fact, and it was the original thing that Dana and I had sparked the conversation of last week, because I was mad and still am, and as is my mother. She was livid about it. All those people who sit there and tell all the time about, oh, God's so great, God is caring, God is loving, God doesn't make mistakes, blah 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 bullshit. What doesn't make sense to me is, if your God's so great, and loving and caring, then why the fuck would he take someone's mother who's a good mom, loves her child unconditionally, loved her puppy unconditionally, had a good life, was around for a lot of stuff, may not have been the healthiest per se, but was a genuine, nice person, good person. Like, her daughters saw her or talked to her at least every single day. Like, super close, loving, caring. How is it that that can die at a fairly young age? Like, I think she just turned 70. And yet, my mother's mother, my grandmother, who is, and we will put a trigger warning to this episode too, is a molester, rapist, child abuser, physically, emotionally, mentally. All of these things. And yet is allowed to keep living. She's psychotic. She drinks like a fish. She's done drugs her entire life. She drives completely and utterly drunk without any regard for anyone else's lives. She just is a horrible, horrible human being through and through. There is nothing redeeming about her whatsoever. And yet that is now 76 years old, if I remember right, 76 or 77. So that's allowed to keep living and wander this fucking earth. Because, oh, yeah, well, you know, God doesn't make mistakes. So a purely evil person is allowed to live and be on this earth torturing and traumatizing people. And yet the good mother who actually is there for her child, is supportive, is taken away. How is that fucking fair? Explain that to me. Make it make sense. Because it fucking doesn't.
It doesn't. Yeah. I'm so gonna get like in trouble. Anybody that knows me knows I do not believe in God. I don't believe in heaven. I don't believe in hell. In order to believe in the devil, you have to believe in God. In order to believe in God, you have to believe in the devil. When you die, you're dead. You're not going to some wonderful sky palace where you're going to see all your dead pets that you had growing up and everybody that you ever known that has died. I don't buy into that bullshit. And that's exactly what it is. It's bullshit to me. Believe what you want. I don't have anything against anybody and their beliefs. These are my beliefs. When I hear people say that their God is all loving, kind and happy and just, you know, does so much for the good of humanity. And I sit back and I'm like, so why'd that 3-month-old get cancer? Why was that? For me, my brother was 10 when he was diagnosed with leukemia. He made it to 17. So my brother died, but jackass down the street who ended up committing 3 murders lived. Good job, God. You're really weeding out the bad ones. No. And then to have all those Christian Bible thumpers that say, my God, it's all loving, but fuck you, gay person. Trans people don't deserve to live.
Mm-hmm.
All loving doesn't mean just white people.
Yep. And that is one of those things. And let me make it clear. When I'll speak for me. Dana can add to it if she wants to. I do not mean all Christians, because not all Christians feel that way. I have met some amazing Christians that I love dearly. Who there's one guy that I absolutely adore and love him to pieces because he came to religion later in life. Like it wasn't forced on him or not forced on him growing up. It was just kind of there. And now as an adult, he's making his decisions of what church he wants to go to, what he believes in, but he's also taking the time to read the Bible, read the Gospels. And another one of our acquaintances actually has like reference books to be able to say, okay, you're reading this part, because obviously a lot of the Bible is confusing in how it's written because it's from older dialects. So he actually has reference books, or she has reference books that she loaned him, so that way he could go through and be like, okay, I'm reading this passage, this verse, and this. And he's like, I'm not 100% sure I'm getting it. He can go to the reference book and see what it kind of actually means in more modern language. And what I love about both of them is that they're both completely accepting. And while they're Christian at heart and they have their belief systems, both of them have said the same thing to me, where they're like, when it comes to gay people, for example, love who you're going to love. It's not my right to say whether or not that's right or wrong. We're all made in God's image. So that means that you're made in his image too.
Yep.
So it means that you're not wrong. And even he said, it's like, okay, the Bible doesn't have, and I mean, this was a big turning point or a big sticking point a few years back, where there were a lot of pastors and I think reverends, fathers, like all those kind of things, all the people who do the churchy stuff, who lead,
priests and whatnot.
priests, yep, exactly, who were stepping forward and were actually doing TikTok recordings and saying, okay, here's some of the things that have been mistranslated in the Bible. And there was one woman that I absolutely loved who would do the parts where she would pretend to be one of the congregation members saying, God said man can't lay together. And she would correct them and say, no, God said man shall not lay with boy the way that he lays with his wife, his woman. And they're like, oh, that's
woman.
And it's like, that's not what it meant. Yeah, I read the Bible, that part. It's like, okay, but did you read the original untranslated, doctored version of it that some people are using today? Yes, some of the newer versions now say, oh yeah, man shall not lay with man. But the original was, man shall not lay with children, essentially. So do not be a pedophile. Don't touch kids. Not okay. And they changed it because obviously, depending on what was big at the time during said translations, they would make it branch that way. Because just like all propaganda, that's how it works.
Yeah,
the victors get to go,
you can take something and sway it towards your beliefs. Like, how many fucking drag shows have you and I gone to?
A bunch.
I'm not a member of the LGBTQ2S. Oh God, I can't even remember all the letters. I'm not a member of that family. I am a friend of that family because my brother is gay. The horror!
Oh my God!
So, I love drag queens. I fucking love drag queens. And who do I have to thank for that? My brother, who introduced me to RuPaul's Drag Race, and I've become addicted. And now Taylor joins us on our excursions to drag queens shows and whatnot. It really bothers me when I hear a Catholic person and I'm not, this is not an umbrella. I'm not putting all Catholic people under this umbrella. I'm just saying this is the religion that I've heard it from the most. A Catholic priest say drag queens are grooming children.
Yes.
I'm sorry, who was getting the altar boy to suck their dick?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the drag queen. It was the priest.
Yep.
And that's a known fact. The Catholic Church has covered up so much molestation and rape and child endangerment. So it pisses me off when you have that person that has that view that God frowns upon somebody that says their sex isn't what it was when they were born. Or men shouldn't dress up as women. That's sacrilegious. That's men shouldn't use women's bathrooms if they identify as a woman. I'm sorry. Do you and your spouse have men and women's bathrooms at home? No, I'm pretty sure you don't. So why would it fucking matter who uses what bathroom in Walmart? It's an enclosed stall with a lock on the door.
That's one of the things that has never made sense to me, because in all of our homes, or any place that you rent, you go to hotels, you go to porta-johns, anything like that, they're all unisex. There's no differentiation. There's no, oh, here's for the gals, here's for the guys. It's just, this is all the same. Everyone uses the same bathroom, and you go to town, have fun. So why do we do that in places like workplaces or airports or stuff like that? Like, why not just have, instead of having urinals, because why the fuck do we have those in the first place? Guys have to use toilets to poop anyways.
So that a man can stand at a urinal with his dick out and then go out and say, "There's a fag in there staring at my dick."
Yep. I'm saying, which is so true. The amount of times that I've heard that, either in like news reports, TV shows, in person, like at college, university, at places of work, everywhere. It's like, okay, you would have had to been looking at him to know that he was looking at you. So get rid of urinals. Just make it all no gender for the freaking bathrooms. Add in more stalls and go to town. No one's going to get hurt when they go in there, especially not when it's in a workplace. There's enough people, trust me. My place of work, we all basically have to pee at the same time. So there would be a constant sitting there going, "Oh my god, hurry up, hurry up." And let's be honest, whenever we go places, even drag shows, women or concerts, women will go into the men's bathroom because there's never a lineup for you guys. Women's bathrooms have a fucking lineup out the door because there's just never enough stalls, and women just seem to have tinier bladders, and it's probably to do with the child thing, so all of their bladders are this big.
Yeah.
So a lot of them will run into, because I know my mom used to do it all the time, I've done it, where you have to go so badly, you're like, oh, fuck this. You run into the men's, you're like, hey, how you doing? The guys stare at you for a second, you're like, I really have to pee. And you go into one of the stalls, you go pee, you come out, wash your hands. Thank you, sir, bye. And you leave. That's it. So what the fuck? Get rid of the urinals, add in 10 times more stalls because you can make bigger ones, and fucking be done with it. Just stop with the arguments.
Yeah. And to have somebody say, "Well, I know my husband or I know my wife." How many people visit your home and use your bathroom? You know them. Statistically, if a child is going to get molested, it's going to be somebody close to them. not a stranger on the street. Think about
Yes.
that. Yeah, I've used the men's bathroom.
Yeah, exactly.
I in my youth, I attended a lot of concerts. Up until COVID, I attended a lot of concerts.
I was just saying, it was the Rona that ruined it.
And at a venue like and only certain people will get this, so we live very close to Detroit. So when I say I go to a concert, I'm going to places like Pine Knob. At one time,
Motor City.
Joe Louis Arena.
Yep.
Pontiac Silverdome, Palace of Auburn Hills, Little Caesars Arena now, Tiger Stadium, Comerica Park. Women will line up and wait for hours to use the bathroom, and they will miss some of the opening act, some of the best songs that their favorite band is playing. And there's nothing. Like it's like a fucking desert in the guy's bathroom. So I go in the men's bathroom, and the one time at the Palace of Auburn Hills, it was 1992. I've seen Metallica on their Black tour.
Depending on when during 1992, I was either just born or not born at all.
It was November 2nd.
Okay, so I was a few months old by then.
I remember the date fondly. Opening band there was no opening band. Metallica played, then they took a break. I'm like, to my friend Mary and her brother Joe, I'm like, pissed like a racehorse.
Yep.
Mary and I go out. She gets in line for the women's bathroom, and there's about, I'm not shitting you, 50 women ahead of her.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, Mary, there's nobody in the men's bathroom. There's no line up there. Well, I can't go in the men's bathroom. There's nobody in there. Well, I'm like, fuck yeah, I gotta piss. I didn't have any kids at this time. I walked 25 feet to the right, and I went in the men's bathroom. There's a guy standing at the urinal. He's like, this is the men's bathroom. And I said, yeah, and you don't have anything I haven't seen before. I got to pee. Went in the stall, peed, came out, washed my hands. He was still looking at me. And I was like, have you never seen a woman use the bathroom before? He's like, this is a men's bathroom, the women's bathroom. I'm like, yeah. And there's like 75 people waiting to use it, and there's you in here. There's nobody else. So yeah, I always use the men's bathroom if there's a lineup for the women's. Fuck that noise.
Oh God, yeah.
My bladder's this big, and I've had children sitting on it.
They've done little tap dances on it. They whee.
It's like S-shaped at this point. It's not even a nice little. It's just
no longer around. It's like.
It's got urine pockets.
For every once in a while, it goes, oh, this part's full. Hold on.
But yeah, the whole God only does good bullshit really sizzles my muffins, if you will.
Sizzles my muffins. I like that.
Taylor loves the sayings that I have because they're very unconventional, and I usually don't even say them twice. It's just a one-shot saying, and that's like, I love that.
And that's the problem, is that she'll say it once, and then I'm like, oh, what did you say earlier? She's like, I don't remember anymore.
Brain fog.
Really sizzles my muffins. Really sizzles my muffins. Let's talk about, because we still have time, so we can talk about this little topic. The amount of Tesla hate right now. So I don't pay attention to most of the stuff. I was never going to get a Tesla anyways, just because of the fact of how much freaking money they are.
I can't afford a Tesla.
Yeah. It's like, okay, yeah, the ideas behind it, yes, I support it. Let's find other alternative things other than gas, because yes, eventually it will run out. That will be a problem. I agree with this stuff.
EV is the future.
Yes. Do they still need to make vast improvements on it? Yes, because the batteries are a constant issue. How to dispose of them is very costly. It's still very harmful to the environment. But that's the thing. Like, we still have to work on it. We still have to get better. There still needs to be brain people because I'm not a brain person. I don't know how any of it works. I just know, yes, things are finite. They're eventually going to run out. So we do need it.
When they can create a battery that gives you the same mileage as a tank of gas,
Yes.
you're going to see people buying electric vehicles.
100%, because that has been the sticking point for everyone, including myself, where it's when a battery charge cannot take you from the city of Windsor to Toronto, which is, for all of us in Canada, we know it as a 4-hour drive. No idea how far it is in kilometers.
3.5.
I round up because you're supposed to only drive 100. A lot of us go faster than that because it takes too long. However, that being said, um, so with all of the stuff going on in the States, there has been an uptick, and I've seen a lot of it now coming through on my TikTok. I hadn't seen a video. Actually, it was one of my coworkers who told me the other day. He was like, "You should do something on the vandalism going on Tesla products." And I
Thank you,
was like,
Mark.
Aussie Mock.
What's a mock?
So when he said it, I was like, "Oh, what's up with that?" I'm like, "I've seen some of this stuff. Like, people are basically trying to throw away their Tesla vehicles, whether it's the trucks, the cars, whatever it is, they're trying to get rid of it fast because they are being damaged." So first, he told me about a video, and I think he said that it took place up in Toronto, where I understand the person's outrage. However, not smart on their part. It was the wee hours of the morning. They came out, they saw a Tesla vehicle out front of some shops. They damaged it in some fashion and then walked like a few feet off to the side to open up their business and go inside. Now, had they gone further, they probably could have gotten away with the uh, demonstration and not been caught. Just would have been like a little bit of a misdemeanor going, okay, hey, you know what? You probably keep your car inside, hide it, do something. They obviously found the guy. They're like, hey, I want to say that Mark said that it was a IT business of some sort. So uh, that happened. And then I've been watching clips of videos. I don't know the guy's name, but I've seen him on Reels and I've seen him on TikTok, where he's showing how easy it is to actually pull apart the Tesla truck. And I
Do
don't
you
know
want
if
to know why?
because it's glued together.
Exactly.
Yep.
They have a massive recall right now because parts of the truck, the exterior,
Yes.
are falling off because the glue's not sticking. Paid how much for that truck? To have it glued together.
Well, and that's my issue. It's like I can remember the video where the guy showed he literally just grabbed on to some of the framework and just barely even did a yank to it,
Mm-hmm.
and it started coming off around the entire door. I was like, "What the fuck?" And then they were doing a essentially a tug of war between like an F-150 and the Cybertruck, which obviously being named a truck should have good tow capability, should be able to go toe to toe. And instead, did a few, got a couple, and then did one, and it literally yanked the entire like under part. I don't know if it was fully the undercarriage, but the entire hitch and everything pulled it right the fuck off the Cybertruck.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went up and he was like, "This shouldn't be." And there's literally glue patches on it. It's not welded into place. It's not even secured by bolts. Like, it's not being put together safely. Number one, obviously. Like, the damage that could be done with these parts that just can fly off, like even the mirrors. He literally just did a little and just annihilated the fucking thing. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Number one. And number two, what the fuck, Tesla?
So,
oh,
so first off, Elon Musk isn't the fucking genius everybody thinks he is. Somebody else created the Tesla. He just bought the fucking company and then claimed it as his own thoughts. So, A, he's a fucking moron. There is a TikToker out there who has his automobile rigged up, and it's awesome because their faces aren't shown. They wear those big smiley faces, those big Asian smiley faces.
yes.
Where they drive around looking for the cyber trucks, and because the back end of the truck is very wide and flat, they are projecting Elon doing that.
Yep. His Roman salute.
That the Romans never did. Yeah, so I watch a lot of their videos because they're fucking absolutely hilarious. But yeah, I don't like talking politics, but like I seriously,
the Americans are making it very difficult right now not to talk politics for a lot of people.
Like, okay, I get it. You know what? Vote whoever you want in as your president. Just remember that person is running your country for the next 4 years. Now, I have American and Canadian family, and some of my American family has voted for
the Cheeto
Turnip or Donnie Dodger. We have Norm and I have nicknames for him. I've had two of them express this thought to me where they say, I remember voting for Donald Trump, not Elon Musk. I'm still trying to figure out why Musk has so much power in the US right now, other than the fact that he made it rain on Donnie Dodger's lap and threw almost $400 million at his campaign.
Yep.
So all you fucking oligarchs need to fuck off. Stop waving your dollar bills around. Again, like I said, I don't like talking politics. Canada is going to be electing a new prime minister on April 28th. They're supposed to dissolve parliament today and call the election. And from what Prime Minister Carney has said, the election will be the 28th of April.
Yes.
So right now, because former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau had stepped down, because he took a lot of shit for shit he shouldn't have had to take shit for. I don't vote Liberal. I usually don't tell people how I vote, but I don't vote Liberal. I don't vote PC. I usually vote NDP. Not a card carrying. I sometimes switch it up, depending on platforms. I didn't vote for the Liberal Party, but I have to say, when Justin Trudeau became Prime Minister, he sacrificed a lot. His family. Because he ended up getting divorced.
Yep.
Relationships with his children, time spent with his children. He was in power during COVID, and there was a lot of things that the government had to do in order to ensure Canada wasn't the dumpster fire the US was.
Yep.
We weren't told to inject bleach. Bleach didn't cure COVID. Maybe cleaned your bathroom nice, but it didn't cure COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So, the rules that were put in place, the isolating, the mask wearing,
Mm-hmm.
he did what he could with what he had.
Yes.
And I think he did a spectacular job. When Chester Cheeto was elected and started popping off about terrorists, like, I don't know, are you mentally incapacitated up there that you don't understand that you owe Canada money and we support you, fucknut, but go ahead, throw tariffs at us. Trudeau stepped down. Mark Carney took his spot. Liberal Party voted in Mark Carney to be the prime minister.
Mm-hmm.
Now Carney has to call an election and they have to elect a new prime minister. So our choices for parties are liberal, progressive, conservative, and
NDP.
New Democratic, NDP.
There are others, but they get so few votes they don't even really count.
Yeah, there's no hope in hell. Just put it that way. So the three leaders of said parties are Jagmeet Singh for the NDPs, Mark Carney for the Liberals, and Pierre Poilievre for the PCs. Donald Trump has endorsed Pierre Poilievre. PP has taken Donald Trump's speeches word for word and used them against Canadians. Hear me out, word for word. Everybody bitched about the carbon tax. One of the first things Mark Carney did when he became prime minister was said, as of April 1st, there will be no more carbon tax, except on large industrial businesses that produce a certain percentage. So Joe Blow going to the store to buy a pack of cigarettes isn't going to get carbon taxed. Everybody got rebates thanks to Doug Ford, the $200 check. And so many people said, oh, he's buying your vote. It's like they don't understand that somebody can do something nice without wanting something back in return. But I see a lot of Canadians who support Donald Trump's visions of banning women's rights to their own bodies. No more LGBTQ.
I have to say, so I have a point to make, and let me tell you, I'm with Dana. I don't talk about politics very often. It's become a hot topic just because in Canada we're going to have our election,
and it's coming fast.
Yes, and for Canadians, our politics are like we're this long. We don't take years and have to listen to the president bullshit for years leading up to elections. Blah blah blah. Ours is all done within a matter of months.
So good.
As Dana throws things around. So what I would like to point out, because I want people who vote conservative to understand why people like myself, members of the LGBT alphabet family, and women in general, why I specifically don't vote progressive or progressive conservative. While yes, there's parts of it that I do agree with. Like yes, I have some conservative points of view. Like yes, I miss when there used to be the nuclear family, so only one main person in the family had to go and work to afford everything in life. I miss those aspects, and yes, I do agree with some of that stuff. However, I want people to realize, because a lot of people won't, The Conservatives voted unanimously, and thankfully the NDP and Liberals teamed up together and outvoted them. But the Conservatives voted to get rid of women's rights for abortions. Now, I believe that yes, it should be open. It's a woman's choice. It's our body. We get to pick. Do I think that it should be super, super easy to get like it is Plan B? No, I definitely do not think that. Let me make that clear. And then the other thing that for me, and I know that a lot of people, specifically straight white guys, and nothing against them, I have a lot of them as friends, but obviously for them, they don't have to deal with the same barriers that other genders, races, ethnicities, all that fun stuff has to face in life. Now, I was talking to groups of my friends at work because we were talking about the political stuff. And the one was for, we just had our election for the premiers of the provinces, which would be like the governors of states. Now, I voted Liberal. Now, let me make this clear. My voting Liberal wouldn't have made any damn difference anyways. We're very much a conservative province. So Doug Ford's been in power for like freaking 15 years now, I think. Something ridiculous. Like he's been there forever.
Seems like a long time.
Like this is literally his third win. So he's been in that job for ages. And I expect it. Do I agree with him all the time? No. Do I agree with some of the stuff that he does? Yes. So, you know what? It's neither here nor there. I accept that fact. Now, my friends and I were talking about it, and Liberals ended up actually getting a few more seats, and the Conservatives lost a few, NDP lost a couple. So Liberal came back into being more prominent. And one of my friends said, well, who the fuck would vote Liberal? And I looked at her and went, I did. And she looked at me in complete confusion. And she's like, well, what the fuck? Why did you vote that way? I was like, so I'll tell you the two reasons. One, they want to take away our rights for abortion. She's like, oh, I didn't know that. I said, number two, and this is the big one for me, just back, and I can give you the exact date of when it was voted on, because that's what I was looking up. This was voted on. Come on, keep going. Where did you go? Monday, June 28th, 2021. So just a few years ago, it was voted on to amend the bill as far as conversion therapy in Canada. It is the 2020s, and according to our bills, it was still all right to force people to go to conversion therapy. If you're a child, you could be forced to go to conversion therapy, etc., etc. Now, the vote, thankfully, was very much yay to changing it and amending it. However, there were still, and I will pull up the numbers right now. Come on, load faster. The yays had it for 263 votes to change it so that way you couldn't force people to go to conversion therapy, but 63 nays to changing it, which were all conservatives. So for anyone wondering what conversion therapy is, because I had this conversation with one of my guy friends at work, and anyone who is in Greater Essex County, just in case you're wondering, and I remember seeing the ads for this, Chris Lewis, Mr. Chris Lewis, voted nay to changing the conversion therapy laws. So I explained to my friend, because he had said, when I said it to him, he looked at me and he went, I don't know what that is. He was like, is that something like, is that for therapy after you've transitioned? Like you converted from one gender to another? And I looked at him and I went, I wish that's what it was, because based on the name, that I can see where he got there from it, because it's conversion. It's like, I get it. I was like, I understand where your thought process would come in with that. And he was like, so what's it mean then? I was like, it is when you take someone who is gay, or in my case, I was like, I'll use me as the example. It's forcing someone like myself to go to these camps, and you are tortured into being straight. And his face just fell. He was like, what do you mean? I was like, yeah, this was just voted on a few short years ago, where the conservatives said, no, we don't want to change these laws so you could force children, other people. And they would go into these horrible, horrible situations. And I always use the comparison of being given force-fed Ipecac and other medications, not medicines, definitely. Excuse me. So that if I saw a picture of a woman, I would vomit at that. But then if a picture of a man came up, I wouldn't get the injection. So that way, then I would find that appealing. So when it comes to voting, and for people who don't know, please learn about that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
because, well, yes, I understand some things that you don't agree with the liberals. I don't agree with everything for the liberals either.
Nobody's ever going to agree with 100% on everything that their chosen candidate does or party
Exactly.
does. Nope. I hear
But
people say, "Oh, the liberals are crooks." Have you met an honest politician? No. Okay, then move on.
let's look back in history, and I'm going to use this as an example. During Julius Caesar's reigns, because he technically had multiple, he put into place such a fucking crooked system that he got to stay in power for extended periods of time, where even back then, that is where you had the Republic. And it was supposed to be so great. And people were voted and elected in. And then things were within that. You had your consuls. And they were voted. He made a triumvirate. And it gave him fairly close to unlimited power. There is no such thing as not having a crooked politician. It's just, you can't. And then more so, you cannot have a person in power unless, and I mean, it's been years since we've had this, unless the party that you vote for in Canada has a majority, meaning that they actually have more seats than anyone else.
Okay.
They cannot force through their ideas. So we haven't had a majority government in, I couldn't
Oh, a
even tell
long
you how.
time.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say it's been a really long time. I can't remember. Maybe during Jean Chrétien, that would have been what, the 90s, early 2000s. I think maybe.
Fuck yeah.
So for anyone who doesn't know, most of the time, or at least lately, we have minority governments. So it's, they only have a couple seats more than the other one. It's usually going between conservatives and liberals. A lot of the times it's like they're within seats of each other. They just barely have a little bit more than the other team. So they kind of have to work towards, like, the liberals and NDPs tend to work together a lot, so it gives them the majority of votes in the House. But if they actually had a majority government to begin with, then they could kind of like push through more of their ideas. Like I said, I can't remember the last time that we had that. But when it comes down to it, I just wish that more people knew about the stuff. And again, don't get me wrong, the other parties aren't perfect either.
Yeah.
However, they're not trying to take away the rights of women or trying to force things onto the LGBT community as a whole. So to me, those are the main reasons why I'm like, I cannot, even if I agree with other aspects of their campaigns, I cannot agree with that. I have to go with the side that is going to say, hey, we want to protect women's rights. We want to protect gay rights. We want to protect trans rights. We want to protect like
Right.
all the rights of everyone. We want to add to it. We don't want to make it lesser or go how the states have gone and undo a bunch of stuff and go back to the dark ages. So that's my little soapbox moment.
It's a good soapbox moment. Because, yeah, everything you said is 100% how I feel. Um,
with our election, usually when they call a federal election, it's usually not until October, and there's preparation time, and you can research. So with this election, it's like within a month. It's 5 weeks, right?
Yes, 5 weeks.
And people aren't going to research.
Well, they're not really going to have time to.
Exactly. They're not going to research what the candidates are saying. So it's, have conversations with your partner, your voting age children, your friends, and hear both sides, like listen to both sides. If your friend is a PC and you're an NDP, listen to what they have to say. But make sure that they listen to what you have to say too. Don't get into those Donald Trump conversations where you have that person that has put that Donnie Dodger up on that pedestal and thinks that he can do no wrong. Like I said, I've talked to people that voted for him that are now disappointed in the way things are going.
Mm-hmm.
Because what he's doing isn't what he said he was going to do. It's far worse.
Well, I say exactly. It's gone completely the opposite direction, where I've seen so many more people actually looking at it now as, I voted for him, but now he's doing all these things to hurt me. Like, what the hell? And the rich are getting richer, which is horrifying. And the poor stock market's going,
yeah.
It's going to end up breaking.
Oh, Tesla's Elon Musk is a good guy. Tesla's catch on fire. Whoosh. Oh, wait. Donald Trump is a salesman for Tesla. Look at them all on the lawn of the White House. Oh, that Cybertruck burst into flames and killed 3 people. Whoosh! It is that roller coaster.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure they're on the downslope right now, though.
They've been on it a few times, from what I've understood.
Yeah.
Because Elon Musk's net worth went from like 350 billion. I mean, it's still fucking high, but it dropped from that down to 198 billion. So, I mean, still super high, super up there. However, that is a drastic drop, almost a 200 whatever $billion drop in, oh, what are you worth? Well, yeah, so just, I don't know, be kind to people, be kind to each other. Just stop spreading hate and all that other bullshit. It just gets so tiresome. On a fun note, though, on June 25th, I leave for my bucket list vacation, and I am off to spend 11 days in Scotland. So, I will be not only sending Taylor 1,001 photos a day, and videos and FaceTiming her and whatnot, I am going to be creating and videos and posting them on TikTok so that y'all can follow along on my adventures. And because honestly, my phone listens to me, I'm telling you. So Norm and I were talking about Scotland the other day. I'm trying to teach him some Gaelic phrases. Ooh.
It's not going so well.
Ooh.
Anywho, on my TikTok feed, I'm getting a lot of tourism from Scotland, like things to
Ooh.
do in Edinburgh and whatnot. Well, we're going to be spending a lot of time in the Highlands because that's where my grandfather was born. So we'll be going to the city that he was born in and spending 3 days there. I found, because we're going to have free time, I found a Highland cow farm where you can go and pet the cows for £5.
Shut up and take my money. I would be throwing it like hand over fist. I live here now.
So I'm like, yes, I'm going to pet the cows.
Oh my god, I'm so jealous.
And I have made the decision because the hotel that we're staying in Edinburgh is almost right downtown. Their historic district area.
Mm-hmm.
There is a little pub about a 10-minute walk from our hotel
Okay.
that I found on TikTok.
Ooh.
And they were posting pictures of their food. So like the Scotch egg.
Yes. Drool.
But then they posted this photo of this dish. So it was like a medium-sized, kind of deepish plate, if you will. And it had some either mashed potatoes or pureed parsnip or some
Ooh.
white veggie that is pureed with this round dish, stands about that high. So on the bottom there's one layer, and then there's a thin layer, and then there's a thicker layer, and then there's stuff on top.
Ooh.
And like seriously, it looked like something that Ramsay would pop out of one of his Michelin star restaurants on a good day, right? I'm like, fuck, that looks tasty. I want to go to this pub. It was haggis.
What?
So I have made the decision, even though I know what it's made from because my grandfather ate it every Friday when I was a kid. We all had hot dogs. He had haggis. My grandmother ate head cheese sandwiches. I'm gonna try it. So
I will try that. That sounds really good. And
I
want to say that it's
probably
turnips.
Turnips
or parsnips. I'm trying to remember
because
I remember
that is.
Yeah, because I was gonna say because I remember seeing it before and I thought that it was like mashed potatoes because it looked like it, but instead it was turnips. And I was like, oh, which I do mashed cauliflower and parsnips.
Oh, so good.
Oh, fuck, is it good?
And you know what else I found out? So I have a friend that lives in England. He lives in Milton Keynes, and he's always talking about Greg's sausage rolls.
Ooh.
And I'm like, fuck you, Larry. I love a good sausage roll. So I decided to just Google Greg's.
Ooh.
And see where they're because we're not going to be far from England. Yeah, I'm not thinking that we're going to have time to hop on over and grab a sausage roll and run back to the airport. But I think they've got to be.
I would think that they'd be up in Scotland.
They are.
Fuck you, Larry. She's going to get it.
So not only am I going to have Greg's sausage rolls, I'm going to see if I can bring some home.
Oh, yes.
Since we're flying into Canada anyways.
Yeah, I was going to say,
we're not crossing, like we're not having to cross the border from the U.S. is my point.
Yeah, so, you should be able to, I would think. Oh.
I'm going to try. I figure if if I can find a Greg's at Edinburgh Airport, I'll grab them, put them in my carry-on, bring them home.
Actually, yeah, and then we can we could try them and put the video on the TikToks.
I just gotta not eat them all on the plane.
Just record yourself as you're like double fisting it. We're doing sausage rolls, mine.
So yeah, that'll be something to look forward to. And I was thinking too that one time we should probably maybe record a session of our D&D game.
Ooh, yes, because I've had a couple people ask me if we're recording the sessions and like sharing the video. It's funny because I didn't think anyone would be interested in it, but I've had a couple friends like Amy Jill, and my friend Kirsten were both like, "Are you recording it? Can we watch?" I'm like,
we should start live streaming.
I was like, I didn't think anyone would really be interested in it, but yeah, sure.
We'll figure something out. So we have a lot of things in the bucket that are exciting and coming up. So
yes,
stay
we
tuned,
do.
folks.
I was going to say, and we can't forget April 26th, I think. Fuck, is it 26th or 22nd for you for getting your tattoo started?
Oh, the 26th.
26th. Good. I think that's when I put it in. Yeah. Dana's getting her tattoo of her Balrog on her thigh started. And then also, because it came up again as available, I too bought a gift certificate from Joe.
I'm a bad influence.
I will now just need to book an appointment with them. I'm hoping to make mine for May timeline because I have a week of vacation in there. So I'd like to actually be able to go get it done and then have a week of healing before I go to work and want to kill anyone who goes, "What's this? How's this feel?"
Don't do what I did.
What's that?
Spent 6.5 hours on my stomach getting that giant dragon down my spine and then went to work the next day.
See, I did that for this one.
Mm.
I went and I didn't even do it the next day. I did it the same day. I got that one done. And then I drove from my tattoo appointment to work and worked my overtime shift.
Did I show you the minimal tattoo I want Joe to do for me on that day too?
I see. What is that? Oh, that's that's perfect.
So even though the flowers are orange on that, I've talked to Joe and he's going to do them orange, black, and white.
That's going to be perfect for her. Tattoos.
Yeah. Oh. I'm thinking of getting it like either right there.
Yep.
Because I have Lestat right there.
Oh, yes.
Kitty's right there.
Yep.
So.
Anywho. So yes. So we're excited for a lot of stuff coming up. Oh, we are. And one of these days, I'm going to remember to buy our tickets to the medieval Renaissance fair that we have in, I think it's Amherstburg, is where it's going to be at. So we're going to do that the June 14th weekend, and then we're going to play D&D afterwards because that's the level of nerdom.
Saving videos.
I was going to say RNR.
I have a really bad habit
of forgetting things.
Yeah, So, on that note, I will go off and join my family for some birthday celebrations. Maybe eat breakfast.
That would be a good idea.
Yet. Yeah, And I'll get this posted sometime today. I'm sure of it.
Yes, we will. It'll be the birthday post of the most.
So, thank you all for joining us on this Rant and Rave Sunday. Happy spring.
Oh, yeah.
Enjoy your day, enjoy your week, and hopefully we're back we'll be back next week, and we'll have another D&D session under our belt, so we might be
Yes,
able
we
to
will.
chat.
I would say
Maybe
we'll
we
have
could.
that.
Maybe we can con Jeff into coming in with us.
Ooh. Like that is we're going to con him. We'll roll for it. If we roll high enough, then he has to come on.
If you roll
We
a
have
nat
boots.
20, I'll say to him, if you roll a nat 20, you don't have to come on. Anything else, you're on the show.
19 and below, you on. And we will we'll also respond to our ethical thingy that we posted to last week and that we never
Oh,
got
God,
around
yeah.
to.
I'm so sorry for being sick. It really threw me off.
Yeah, I was going to say it wasn't a little sickness. It hit her hard, and then Norm got it after that from her.
Well, yeah, my son and I both started on Sunday, and then my husband got it. Not near as bad as what I got it, but the man cold.
Yep. So we will also do that. Maybe we'll record tomorrow or Tuesday, but we will respond to that. We do have answers, and I actually have a couple answers from my friends from Instagram and from Facebook. So we'll also have some interaction on that front too. So
Perfect.
woo.
So have a good one, everybody. Stay safe.
See you next week and be kind to each other.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.